Welcome back to InfoWars Nightly News on this Thursday, May 30th. This is Mike Adams, and now we are interviewing Andrea Lalama. She is the mom whose photos of her children, her autistic children, were censored by Facebook, and the story went viral on Drudge and InfoWars and many other places. She is an outspoken critic of the government's lack of action and industry's poisoning of children, causing them to be autistic. And she joins us here in the InfoWars Nightly News studios to give us her take on what's happening with autism, BT toxin, GMOs, and children. Andrea, thanks for joining us on InfoWars Nightly News.
Thank you for inviting me, Mike. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that a lot of people is paying attention to these issues.
Well, it's great to have you here. And by the way, you did a great job on the Alex Jones radio show today. That was earlier. I'm curious, what kind of reaction are you getting now online from your speaking out on the show?
I'm super happy. I thank you everybody out there that is supporting me. I'm doing this for not just my children, but for your children and for everybody's children. Not just the autistic kids, but the kids that don't have autism. Because we have to create awareness of avoiding autism. It's enough to create awareness that autism exists. We need to create awareness of stop it. Stop autism.
Yes.
It's an epidemic. Let's just stop it. Let's create awareness how to stop it. And this is how we stop it.
Now, for those who maybe didn't hear the radio show, give us a very quick synopsis of what happened to you and the Facebook censorship issue.
Basically, we went to protest, and I like to teach my children to do what is right by example. And I took them to protest with me. They actually were the ones that wanted to go after I explained them what happened at home. They are totally capable of understanding what's going on. They know they have to eat organic. It's medicine for them. So they wanted to go and protest for that. And we took very nice pictures, and I just came back home very innocently to share with my friends and just my small network of families. And when you picked up the story, I put in my picture in your website because I've been a reader of natural news for many, many years. And I took a lot of your advice, by the way.
Oh, great.
I love
nice
it. It takes a big part, let me tell you, and thank you. It takes a big part in reversing autism. A lot of your advice, and Jeffrey Smith, and everybody that is aware of what's going on, Alex Jones.
So we shared your photo.
You guys shared my photo in your Facebook page. And right after that, I tried to share one more time with the foundation that I work with, Autism One, and it didn't allow me.
And that's when you got the message that it was abusive.
That it was abusive and it was blocked. So
wow.
I got furious, to tell you the truth, because not just for blocking me, but for calling me abusive. How my pictures of my kids protesting with such an innocent commentaries in a way, because I'm not pinpointing names, I'm not saying Monsanto or DuPont or anybody.
Right.
I'm just saying what is true. The organic food is medicine for my son, and the other one is biopesticides equal autism.
What's incredible is that the censorship that Facebook did to you was also happening to other moms all across Facebook. And I'm sure you started to get those messages. They started flooding into us as well. Everybody that was trying to post Monsanto was getting shut down.
Yes.
Selectively.
The mothers in my group that tried to repost the picture of my children got blocked.
Amazing.
So they say, oh, you don't have freedom of speech because Facebook is a private company. And like you pointed, and I agree with you, it's absurd. It's totally absurd.
Well, AT&T is a private, a corporation, Verizon, all these cell phone companies. It doesn't mean they can block your phone call if you're talking about Monsanto on your phone call.
Exactly. It's absurd. And the only logical explanation for this is that this bio industry, this Monsanto, it's behind it and is preventing the public from talking about it, from commenting about it, from protesting about it. And this is absolutely wrong. I mean, we have reached a point that you can't live anymore here in the United States, and it's so suppressive. We cannot even talk. But when you talk about trivial things like a Hollywood
sports
star or
scores,
sports stories, which are actually pretty boring for me. I'm sorry
Yeah,
to
me
say
too.
that.
I don't tune
I'm
into
not
that stuff.
You know, nothing wrong with people that like that
No.
stuff, but personally, I don't read the sports section.
Yeah.
When I get the newspaper, I take that one out. I mean,
Well,
it's not fair. I mean, we should be
absolutely,
allowed.
and you are appropriately outraged about this. But think about this: when you're on Facebook now, the real comments that moms like you want to post are being censored and blocked. Yet we know that corporations, and I'm not going to name names, but we know that big, powerful corporations, they hire groups of Facebook trolls to, I mean, they might have a war room of 50 or 100 people or more whose job it is to run around all the social networks posting corporate propaganda. So the conversation that you're reading on Facebook is slanted and distorted to take out the truth and put in the corporate propaganda.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
how bad it is.
One thing that upset me is that I see some commentaries that I try to turn around what I'm trying to do. All I wanted people to know is that we know what it causes autism. The mainstream media has said it. It
Right.
says we cannot pinpoint, but they constantly are saying is that it's environmental. So what implies environmental if it's not biopesticides, chemicals, poison in the air, chemtrails? So if we know it's environmental, biopesticides, it will fit within that concept. So
Absolutely.
let's avoid them, right?
Well,
but when I said that, I'm sorry, but
no,
let
you're
me
right.
finish this. When we say biopesticides do this, and then the people is being putting on Facebook that I'm abusing my kids for letting them
Those are the trolls.
protest. Exactly.
Those
That's
are the trolls.
what I'm trying
it's
to
not
tell
real
you.
people saying that.
Those
are
are
trolls.
I'm trying to tell you this part to complement what you're saying, because it's true. There's a lot of trolls out there that they will get in our very truthful protest and information to turn around against ourselves.
No, I saw,
that's
in fact,
horrible.
someone attacking you on Facebook. My wife and I were watching the comments roll in. We were like, troll, troll, troll. We know what's
Right.
going on. But one of the comments was, you shouldn't post pictures of your children holding protest signs because someone could copy and paste their faces and put them on pictures of child porn.
Oh my goodness!
I'm like,
that one I
do that
didn't
with
got.
anybody's photo? I mean, couldn't they take Obama's photo and put it on a picture of child porn? I mean anybody's photo. That's not a reason. That's
You see,
absurd.
this is undermining you to live in fear. And you
Yeah.
know, they picked the wrong mother. I'm sorry to say that, but they picked the wrong mother. Those things are just going to make me go even further. Facebook tried to stop me. Here I am.
Exactly.
And this is what I encourage everybody to do. Don't let them push you around. Doesn't matter how big the corporation is. If there is a will, there's a way.
And the more they try to shut us down, the more we're going to speak out.
Exactly.
And with
Absolutely.
more passion and more truth and more power. Let's go to the issue of the BT toxin testing, because you explained earlier on the radio show that the labs would not allow you to test BT
That's
toxin
correct.
because of why? Tell us the story.
Well, basically, Monsanto has a law that prevents anybody from studying, testing, or do any type of research that connect to their patented toxins.
That's
and BT
that's
is
the
one
U.S.
of them.
government's law, patent laws.
So what happened is, if you eat poison from a company like Monsanto that makes this biopesticide, let's say you bought Roundup and somehow you ended up getting poisoned by it, you can't prove it because you can't test your own blood. You can't test your own blood, so how can I, so people keep telling me, where's your proof? And I said, I'm more happy to show you my child so I can prove you that
But the labs won't allow you.
The laws doesn't allow the labs.
See, this is the big scam. It's all about having intellectual property ownership over seeds and genes. This is the same thing with the breast cancer gene, the BRCA1 and 2 genes.
That's correct.
Did you know that corporations currently, and universities together, corporations and universities currently claim to own 20% of your genetic code?
I actually read in Natural News, and yes, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to understand at this point in my life how Americans are not protesting against this, and how they are allowing our politicians to pass these laws that totally works against ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they are allowing this to happen.
Let's talk about that. Now, you're from Ecuador originally.
Correct.
And I lived in Ecuador for a while, so we both know that Ecuador is a country where when the people get angry at their government, they take to the streets.
Exactly.
I mean, they march on the Capitol. They literally physically take the president and throw him out on his ass.
Correct.
And bring a new one in.
Exactly, correct.
And in America, that's considered now an act of terrorism.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You see, America is living something that got my attention that I read on the internet. It's that people that like to eat frogs, the legs of frogs, they cook the frogs in a pot by raising the water slowly so they won't jump out of the water. And they die because by the time they notice the water's too hot, it's too late.
Incremental.
It's an incremental.
Increase,
and that's what America is experiencing right now. To me, when I read that on the internet, I said, oh my God, this is what's happening in the United States. They are passing these laws and laws and laws, and people are, it's for our safety. It's for your benefit.
Right.
It's for the good of your children. Oh, they love, if something, they love to use children as weapons, because it's
they
like,
love to use
it's for
children.
your child. It's for your children. And based on that, we are losing our freedom of speech, our freedom of congregation, our freedom to bear arms, all our freedoms. So,
well, and also the freedom to be a parent. This is another key thing. And by the way, I want to encourage those watching to visit your website, reversingautism.org. But you are a responsible parent. You're a passionate parent. That comes across very clearly. You want what's best for your children, and you want to teach them the things so that they can raise their children eventually to be healthy. Like
I keep telling you, I wish that I knew when I was 19 what I know now.
Yeah.
I wish I would know.
Don't we all?
So I wish.
Turn back that clock.
Exactly. So because I wish that, the logical thing to do and the moral thing to do is to empower my children, to teach them as soon as possible how the world really works.
Right.
Well, the mainstream media said, let the children be children, you know, just playing Lego, playing PSP and computer dumb programs.
Well, even worse, they say that your children are not your children. They say that they're owned by the state. The state is the parent.
That's crazy to me. That's craziness, madness.
That's the collectivism, societal parenting meme that's being pushed out there.
I will wish to know if what the tribes in Ecuador, the Indians, will do if they are being told that. Because let me tell you,
the Shuar Indians, yeah.
The Shuars in the Amazon. Yeah. I would like to see how they will react.
I know. I think we need some curanderos in here. We're doing the flames and the vodka.
We call them ignorance when they protest. It's pretty pathetic, let me tell you.
I think they know a lot more than most parents today.
Exactly.
I tell you.
I'm a warrior mom, like all the moms out there with children with autism. All are warriors, and I'm here for you. I'm representing them proudly because the mothers over there at home, they know that when our kids were diagnosed with autism, they told us that there's nothing we can do for them, that we can't not help our kids, just drug them with pharmaceuticals to be manageable. And that's an insanity. That is not true, because if that would be true, I wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. Well said, Andrea. And the other part of that message that they're saying to people is, if you get diagnosed with cancer or diabetes or heart disease, you can't do anything about it either. You're a victim of the medical system if you fall for that delusional thinking. And what I love about you and your work and your message is that you are not hypnotized by the system.
Absolutely.
You are, shining with the truth of light to go out there and say, let's find some answers and let's share those answers with other moms so their kids don't have to be poisoned.
Yes. When people watch this interview, I hope you all understand that not because you don't have a child with autism, this is not affecting you. think about the grandchildren you will have.
Sure.
And the risk. Right now is 1 in 50 the chance of you having a child with autism. So maybe you have 2 beautiful kids, and thank God you do. But what about your grandchildren? If you don't educate now your children to protect themselves and eat organic and avoid GMOs and avoid biopesticides and chemicals that can cause these epigenetic changes in their children before they are born.
Well, and to add to that, you're absolutely right, but even to add to it, suppose you have a daughter who is 19, 20, 25, whatever, and she's planning a pregnancy to start her own family. When she's pregnant, if she's pregnant with a baby girl, that girl is forming inside of her, and the eggs of that girl's future daughter are forming inside the baby, inside the mom now.
Exactly.
So whatever poison you're eating now is affecting your granddaughter.
I really encourage people to get educated about these facts and check the job done by several scientists and posted all over the internet. They can Google and see genetic studies on animals, on mammals, because we are mammals, so it's very compatible. And you will see how when they are fed biopesticides, when they are fed GMOs, the first generation is not that bad, but the second one is sick, and the third one ended up dying or with tremendous defects. So that's what's happening to us.
You know, you mentioned the word epigenetics on the radio show, and I'm really glad you brought that up. And this is probably the last question for you in this segment. But there have been studies that have already been published showing a transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, meaning that the epigenetic expression of the genes is also inherited from one generation to the next. It's not just the genes. The genes aren't the whole picture.
Yeah, people need to understand the differences here. One thing is the gene, and one is the epigenetic change. The epigenetic is like the word says, is the change that it causes into the gene. And that is an instruction, okay? It's like putting a computer and sending an instruction. And that's what's being passed from one generation to the next one, like you mentioned.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but what is important here is that people understand where this instruction is coming from, okay?
Right.
You have to understand that in order to have an instruction in your gene, it has to come from your husband in that case, whoever is the father of that child. And when what is happening to us right now is that we are testing our kids for epigenetic changes, and guess what? It's not in my father. It has not been found in my husband, neither in me.
It's coming from other sources,
from where?
Right? Vaccine injections, biopesticides, DNA,
So that's where it's coming from, other sources. So there's where the people need to understand that this biopesticide is coming from external sources, and the more logical, in my case at least, it had to came from food, because I don't work in any agricultural field, or I have not been exposed to anything directly, like in other cases that they claim they were close to, like petroleum companies and things like that. So it has to come from biopesticides in my case.
Well, and also, just to be clear, to back that up, when you are talking with scientists in labs, the term environmental causes includes food. Food is an environmental cause of something. It's an environmental exposure. So food, air, water, beverages, things that you drink, things that you put on your skin, those are all environmental influences of the cell. So I've seen some people out there say, they said autism is caused by environment. Well, that's not food. That's like air pollution. They're wrong.
Absolutely.
Food is an environmental cause.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'm just supporting you with that, because a lot of people out there don't understand these terms.
Well, people need to understand that there's undeniable proof. There is genetic studies. They can go to regular medical mainstream medicine, and they can read the studies done in autistic kids from David University, for example, when they find out that our kids has epigenetic changes in their DNA chain. But the good news is that what they find out is that they are not erased like in chromosomal damage, for example, like Down syndrome, which is unreversible. I mean, you don't have it.
That's
you can't create it.
Physical damage.
Exactly. But in autism, especially there is like 3 groups in autism, and the more prevalent group is my case. Kids that were born and developed normally and then they got vaccinated and they regress into the spectrum, that specific group, at least, has been proved that their DNA genetics is intact. It has been altered, but it's there.
Right.
So that's the kind of autism, to be clear, that you can reverse.
Makes sense. But to do that, you've got to have really clean foods. You've got to understand detoxification.
Yes,
you've got to eat organic.
Correct.
But yeah, the epigenetic expression is something that can be altered.
Exactly.
By environmental influences.
Exactly, correct.
It's not the actual DNA that's damaged.
Yes, and don't believe when a doctor tells you that autism is mental and that there's nothing you can do, that it's genetic, it's heritage, and you can undo that. That's a completely
What are they living in the Stone Age or something? I can't believe that.
They have to go back to medical school and relearn all over again. Let me tell you.
I think they went to medical school in the 1700s. Something that's ancient. I mean, come on. Anyway, I want to thank you, Andrea. You've done a fantastic job. You're a very brave, courageous mother who is really making an impact out there. So keep up your fight. You're doing great work.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate for supporting me and helping me in this issue. That's very important for all of us.
Well, we're just giving you a platform here at InfoWars. That's it. You're doing the work.
Thank you.
You deserve the credit, just like everybody else out there who's speaking out on the issues that they care about, whether it's autism or the Bill of Rights or liberty or you name it. But you're a great example of it, so I'm really happy to be able to interview you today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, thanks for joining us. And that's it for InfoWars Nightly News on this Thursday, May 30th, 2013. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. I enjoyed hosting here tonight. And I'll be hosting the radio show on Monday as Alex travels, so you might want to check that out. And by the way, if you'd like to learn more about GMOs and the dangers they pose to human health, check out this special, The Dangers of GMO Special. It gives you 3 items. It's on sale now at the InfoWars store. You get the Genetic Roulette DVD, The World According to Monsanto, and Scientists Under Attack. All 3 are DVDs, and they will give you a wealth of informative information that you can share with your friends. Yeah, have a showing party over at your house. Have fun with it. Spread the truth and have a good time doing so. In any case, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.